All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. I tested the audio, so, you let me know. But I'm thinking we're pretty good. Gain is cranked. It is cranked. So hopefully it's clear. Hopefully it's not too crackly. Sometimes on my end it gets crackly when I crank it like that. All about those gains, baby. You got Gabrielle? Might be Gabrielle. I feel like Gabrielle is like a male pronunciation. Am I wrong? Ash, Seb, Vanesk, Jack, Zoltar, Joey, of course, Torhev, Ali. So we're gonna poll the chat here. I want from chat as I start with Disney. um, can chat give us 8 great charts to look at? I'm not talking your bags. I'm talking what do you think looks good right now? 8 charts that look good. Anybody can give me anything, any time frame. This Solana meme stuff isn't for me, but I'm sure there's something there. Yeah, I know of an SCATs. Yeah, Reddit. I do not understand that IPO. As a long time user of Reddit, previously Dig before Reddit, I do not understand that IPO at all. Is there a Craigslist IPO coming? Yeah, I'm not going to look at WIF. I just don't care. We'll take a look at EOS. Yeah, we'll take a look at Plug. Cody better not be a meme stock. Meme coin. Scott. Prime, STX, and Sui. Sui is okay, so we'll start off with there. We got one. We got one, folks. PayPal doesn't count because I talked about that pre-stream, but we will look at PayPal. But anything you got, you let me know. Then we can run down some stuff. We'll start off with the fresh. I feel like I talk about the same stuff all the time. Let's start off with something fun. Sorry, no, it's not. It's not a meme coin, or it is a meme coin. What I really like about Sui is on the daily, it has a bullish TK cross with price above cloud. I don't care about unlocks. I don't care that it's up 6% or not 6x. What is this? What is this measurement here? 400% in less than 6 months. I don't care about any of that. All I'm looking at is the cloud here. Where could this go is maybe a decent question. Again, I don't really care. Do I think it has another 400% in it? I don't, but I don't know, maybe to 3. I'm just measuring using fibs, taking the high and taking the low. But I really like this chart. It's not on Kraken, so I can't buy it, but I could buy it. I could move money around, but I'm not. So anyway, I like this chart a lot. It's on the USD pair. It looks really good. STX. Okay, let's take a look. STX is another one that I think is a good long-term hold. It's Bitcoin adjacent. I don't know what it actually does. I couldn't tell you. Proof of authority, some nonsense like that. We'll take off pivots. It looks fine on the daily. I think on the weekly it probably looks even better. Against Bitcoin it looks decent as well. We'll go 2 decimals. It looks fine. The easy part was for alts is like what we had the past 6 months, right? We had all of these edge to edge moves. That's easy because it gives you entry, it gives you exit, it gives you stop loss. Like it's all built into that little microcosm of the trade setup. From here on out, the rest of this cycle, for however long it's going to be, the entirety of it is going to be price discovery for most things that are worth trading. That is tough to know it's tough to know ahead of time where this could go. Like we can draw trend channels, we can say, you know, like we can zoom way out on this or something. We could say, I don't know. I don't even know what to do with this, right? Like you could make something up and say maybe this is some sort of ascending triangle and like take the fibs, but we're almost there again, right? I don't know. But it looks good. You can't deny it looks really good. So I like Stacks as a long-term hold. Again, I don't really know anything about it, but it looks fine. It looked fine at 80. Looks great here. I don't know. Looks fine. So I like that one. Sui, okay, yeah. Prime, I can't remember. I also like this. I won't count this as the chat's suggestion, but Prime I looked at on the alt video. I just can't remember. Maybe I didn't. I looked at it last night is what happened. So unlike Sui, with Prime, you know, it's tough because it feels like, and I'm not saying this isn't bullish, it's just the entry isn't there for me. You know, you've had consolidation breakup, consolidation breakup, consolidation breakup. So here it's kind of just awkward. You know, it looks a bit parabolic. It's definitely bullish. It's just the best entries are always going to be bullish DK cross, bullish breakout on cloud. That's why it's so important not to miss this, because even if this didn't move up 2x, 3x, whatever this is, 2x, 3x, even if it doesn't move up 3x, like the cloud is still telling you that's a really good time to enter this trade. So in hindsight, it looks perfect, obviously, but there are times when it doesn't work out, right? But the point is, it doesn't matter. The optimal entry is always exactly where the cloud tells you on the daily. Anything else? Nobody has anything else that they want that's bullish? LRC? I think I looked at that one too last night. LRC, what did I say about this one? Yeah, so what the thing with this is, it's not that it's not bullish. I'll save all these, by the way, so that next stream we can look at them as well. But here's what I like, okay? What I like is that it is in the weekly cloud. It is trying to cancel this head and shoulders that it made over the past couple of years. Right, this just went nowhere. The moment it is above, you want to close above the right shoulder attempt. The moment it is above 50 cents, then that kind of seals the deal on invalidation of the head and shoulders. That's with any pattern, right? So I do like this. I like this as a long-term hold. Again, I don't know what it is. No clue. But the chart looks good. It's in the weekly cloud. Do I think this goes to, what is this? $2? Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, Tia, I mean, again, I say this every time somebody brings this up. It's kind of the reason, it's the reason retail gets burned a lot, because retail often enters stuff like this super late. Like you'll hear about it and you won't buy, or you'll hear about it at the top because that's when everybody's talking about it, when it's up 10,000%. And I guarantee you've got some VC somewhere who's bought this at pennies on the dollar and is just dumping it forever. Okay. Now, if we had metrics on this, which I don't, I've asked people, what are the fundamental metrics that I can look at and say someone's using this, or there's interoperability here, there's middleware, there's anything, right? Then I could get a little bit more on board. But I don't see any of that anywhere. So I don't know who's even using this for anything. Not that that really matters, but it matters to some extent when it's up this much and it's a completely new chain, right? Trend-wise on the 4-hour, you'd want this above the cloud. I just don't think in the moment that this is anything that the market really cares about. That's just me. Like, I would rather trade most everything else than this. I really don't like seeing this, what is it? Concavity? I really don't like that. Cody. All right, hold on. Let me scroll up here. I see what everybody's saying. It just takes me a second to read it. Cody, let's check. Let's check. This better be a bullish chart or an actionable trade. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't look horrible. It again, it's like, the reason we look at everything all the time, always, everything everywhere all at once, is because you really don't want to miss these potential entries, because that's obviously the best part, the best trade to take, right? The best time to trade this. It doesn't matter where it goes, right? I know this is hindsight. I know it's up 3x from here, but that was clearly the time to take the trade, right? And I'm looking on the 3-day. I'm not even on the hourly. I'm not on the 15-minute. Like, it doesn't even matter. Just go way up the time scale, turn on the cloud. That's all you got to do. That was an excellent entry. I'm sure we may have talked about it at the time. I don't know. Here it's just kind of, yeah. It reminds me of Ray. Ray, we talked about, man, months ago. We talked about this thing. I probably talked about it pre-October. And I could have bought it on Solana, like a DEX or something, but I just didn't because I'm lazy. And again, you can go back to that stream. I said at the time, this was one of the best looking charts that I saw because of the W double bottom, the Adam and Eve characteristics. It just so happens that after that, the Solana ecosystem took off, and you just want to be there when it happens, right? Like, who cares? So this goes back to 15 cents from 28 or something, right? Okay, right. So that's the trade. You're out, whatever. But when you see this stuff, that's why I like PayPal, right? When you see this stuff just straight death for months, and then it holds a level, it has a decent shot at something happening. So Ray here, I don't know, looks okay. It had a bullish TK recross, price above cloud, a while back, falling wedge breakout. Looks okay. I don't know. Here, just kind of meh. Just kind of meh. What else did I miss? HYG, that is an interesting one to bring that up. Let's take a look. So for those unaware, these are junk bonds, right? My take on junk bonds relative to risk is if people are buying this stuff, then risk on is very much on the table, which that's what it feels like. So Powell came out yesterday and was basically like, yeah, inflation has been hot for the past 2 prints, but that's okay. It's coming down. Yeah, unemployment, it's okay. We don't want to be too restrictive in case it explodes higher. And yeah, by the way, we still plan on 3 rate cuts. Okay, all right, let's go. Game on. Like, that is not what I expected him to say. I expected him to say, we're close but not there on inflation. Unemployment looks okay. Like, I expected him to be much more hawkish than he was. So that's why the markets just exploded higher. They were waiting for Powell to continue to say that he's dovish, or the Fed is dovish. So HYG here, we'll add this to the, if I can find, where did I put it? Here it is. We'll get rid of that. HYG. So what I like about HYG from like a Wyckoffean, classical Wyckoffean perspective, I guess you could say, there's always kind of like, you know, maybe 10 to 20 things you're looking for. Again, what do we have with HYG is just years of sideways chop. Then you have a breakout. This is like your markup phase or whatever. And it looks like it's trying to break out again. So, sure, I like it. It means risk on is back on the table. It means risk on stuff like Bitcoin should do well. It means that into halving, which we've typically seen, liquidity is going to improve for risk. So, I like it. I like it. What else did we pull out here? PayPal. Yeah, PayPal, I have this one already set up. I don't know if you can see. My face might be in the way. Yeah, my face is in the way, isn't it? We'll just pull it up. PayPal I like because it is, I'll put on the watch list. So PayPal is another one, same thing, where it has been down only for years, including this falling wedge, which is going on 2 years, over 2 years at this point. So for the first time in, I don't know, 3 years, we're finally above the 2-day cloud. The 2-day cloud. So yeah, sure, like it might be a garbage company. This might go nowhere. PayPal might get hit with more SEC lawsuits. Like, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. If we want like a ballpark target, it would be 87. That's the 50% retracement of the falling wedge. We could also say, what is this here? We could say that this down here is maybe an inverted head and shoulders as well. That gives us a target of like 93 to 103, just measuring that. So I like higher. Yeah, sure. Why not, right? Like, now's a much better time than any time in the past 3 years to try this on the long side. So I like it a lot. Bought some today. So we'll add PayPal. Okay, that's 4. This will be 5. PayPal. The other thing about the cloud is, like, if you're honest about a system, then it should work in any environment. It should work for anything, really, right? So this will be a true test, right? It's like something like Zoom, you know? Again, like, garbage company, terrible product, potentially spyware. Okay, like, I agree with you. I agree with everybody who thinks it's trash. I'm not saying this is a great purchase here, but I do have an alert at 75. If this thing can get above 75, just like PayPal, it'll be above a high time frame cloud for the first time in 3 years, right? And if ARK wasn't such a trash amalgamation of products, companies, whatever, like, it's the same thing, right? ARK's been down only for years. It's above the cloud on the high time frames. It's got this like head and shoulders mess here. There's clearly some sort of resistance. Yeah, sure. Like, this could run if liquidity improves, if risk is back on the table. ARK to 70, right? Sure, why not, right? It's been down here for a long time. Hood is another one. Hood is just kind of blasted off. I've talked about Hood maybe more than anyone else, but for the same reasons, you know. But it's good to have examples of what looks good, what you're looking for. And, you know, when I say I don't like weakness personally, like, You know, I'm not going to buy this chart, for example. I'm not going to buy Zcash at all-time lows. Like, no. You know, the time to buy this chart was potentially up here, but the moment it starts to break down, that's it. The problem with people most of the time is they cannot sell at a loss. They are community members. They assume this is going to bounce. We'll turn on the actual cloud for crypto. And just doesn't matter, right? This is all-time lows, I'm pretty sure, for Zcash. But there are so many examples of this relative to Bitcoin out there for altcoins. And you could sort of rationalize it all the way down and say, oh, this is super oversold. It's got to bounce. It's got to bounce. It's got to bounce. Zooming out, this thing has never been above the weekly cloud ever. Years. Okay. So there's usually a reason. The moment it gets above the weekly cloud, then we can talk. But no, just no. Not that anybody, you know, no one asks me about this anymore. But the reality is, for all of the altcoins that everyone's asking me about today, that they didn't know existed 2 days ago, there are many more alts that look just like this 2 days from now, right? It's just, this is the reality. What else we got? Ondo, Rune, yeah, Rune, I don't even know. Rune is another one that, again, here's a good example. This was a breakout that went nowhere. This was a breakout that went nowhere. These breakouts, I guess that wasn't a bullish TK cross. That breakout went somewhere. This breakout recently definitely went somewhere. So up here, I don't know, like it's fine. You can always check the recent consolidation range with fibs. Again, I'm just taking the high, taking the low. We hit the target, dead on the money. I just, in the immediate term, how much more can you expect out of this? I personally don't think that much, personally. Now, there are a lot of charts that have this you know, inverted head and shoulders setup, potentially. Like if we go to Bitcoin, right on cue, we are, let's turn everything off here. We are starting to drop off, potentially make this right shoulder on this mess of a, right? Like this doesn't need to work out. It doesn't need to play out as expected. There was an inverted head and shoulders that failed here, right? This one failed. Okay, great. The moment the right shoulder fails, you shouldn't be in this trade anyway until it breaks the neckline, but the moment it fails to hold the right shoulder, like clearly it's bearish, okay? So the next bearish test for this would be, does this right shoulder hold? Does it get back to the neckline? Does it break out of the neckline? You know, so we are so early for any of that, which is another reason why the cash that I set aside from selling, so I sold a lot based on the daily fractal. If we get rid of this, let's get rid of this. We're high octane today, folks. I'm just all over the place. Zoom, PayPal, miners, trash coins, Bitcoin. So I sold a bunch right in here because of this fractal breach. The fractals are the trailing stop losses. So that's when I got all bearish and I said we are probably going back to 56 because that's what the Kijun on the daily would want. That's still 1000% a possibility. I know everybody gets bullish after yesterday's candle, which was bullish engulfing. The flows for today, by the way, in the ETFs will probably be enormous because they are yesterday's flows. Because this move, I think this move happened. This move happened towards the later part of the day. But the way the flows are reported, we might see those reported today. Anyway. So I know everybody got super bullish yesterday, which is fine. But what I want to see on the 4 hour, you don't even need to know chart patterns, because once again, the best entry here, hands down, is going to be the moment we close above the 4 hour cloud with a bullish cloud. The moment that happens, I'm all in, baby. I'm shoving all in. But until then, the future is uncertain here, because we could fail on this pattern, right? We could fail on this, which clearly is trying. Okay, it's trying, but that could fail. There's also this other possibility where this whole thing is some sort of, I don't even know what you draw here, but probably some sort of inverted head and shoulders, right? So there's a path to very bearish stuff still. So I would just be careful up here. Something else you could watch. Where is it at? Fractals. We don't have a daily fractal print yet, but much like this fractal at 43, this fractal at 53, that would be the next type of entry on the daily, which we don't even have a fractal down here. The highest fractal we have is the all-time high fractal, right? So I just think this is going to need the rest of the month easily, potentially into April. We got taxes, right? We got seasonality not on our side. March is generally not so happy. Quarterly rollover. Like, there's lots of reasons. The moon, don't forget about the moon. You want to, okay, here's the real alpha. For those of you still here after my rant, don't tell Doppel. There's this great trader, Doppel. He hates the moon. What is it? Moon phases? So, this is not on our side either. It's very silly. The idea is just there's bull moon and bear moon, and we are in bear moon right now. Bear moon ends at the end of the month. And I'm backtesting. This thing generally is horrendous, but since the breakout in October, it's been pretty good. So we want, we want the white moon. Generally has been more bullish than the bear moon, which has been kind of flat and choppy or down. So those are my reasons for being bearish until the end of the quarter. Just something silly like that. It's really all the other stuff. It just so happens that the moon phases line up. All right, let me catch up with chat. Yeah, the three. should I find it? There's this other chart pattern. So this is the chart pattern. Now I have seen this chart pattern. I'll just blow it way up. I've seen somebody call this chart pattern before on something. I just can't remember what that something was, but I've seen this before. Not that that matters, but this is a known chart pattern apparently, right? And there is a very loose argument that it could fit this thing, okay? Very loose argument. But I can't trade this, right? Here's the thing about this pattern. Guess what's at the top of this pattern? A head and shoulders, okay? Who gives it a bleep about any of this other garbage? The head and shoulders will tell you at the top. So I don't know, it's just funny. There's probably another case for, I always forget what this is called, like descending, broadening wedge or something. Depending on where this breaks up or down to. Let's say we go to 56, right? Let's say we go to 56 and we break out at 66, right? That would be how that would measure, but that's way down the line. Bad moon rising. That's right, Rojogan. That's right. All right, sorry, let me catch up. Pratik with the 5s, super. We'll take a look at Dixie and VIX for sure. Dixie yesterday, it retraced a bunch because, it retraced a bunch because Powell came out super dovish, and now today it's, if you want a bullish engulfing candle, look at that thing. That's a bullish engulfing. I don't know, man. I don't know the UJ, the Japanese yen effect that's going on here. This whole thing is just a massive, this is the scariest part, right? The scariest part about this is there may be some sort of bottom pattern here. If DXY retraces, I don't know why it would, but if it retraces back to 112, then I think we're in trouble on the crypto side. That's probably max pain. For the world, okay? Never mind crypto, but the world, max pain is 112 plus for DXY. This is very much like the ETH diamond. We'll take a look at that in a second, but is this, what is this exactly, right? It's not quite a head and shoulders, I don't think. It's a little too noisy for that. It doesn't have a clear-cut support resistance line. What does the cloud say on the daily? Cloud on the daily is pretty noisy. Cloud on the weekly, it's trying to be bullish. It's not as clear-cut as 2020 and 2021, but it's trying to bottom down here, which is a problem for crypto, for sure. The VIX, we'll take a look. I've never really understood the VIX, so I don't really know. I don't know what drives this anymore. This is the volatility index. Some would say the fear index. Honestly, I have no clue. No clue. The doomers, the bears will tell you that the VIX is too low. It's artificially low. It's only a matter of time before we bust out of the VIX. I don't know. I don't know why anybody would trade this. I don't know what signals it tells you anymore. This was COVID, right? The ultimate fear was VIX spiking to like 80. I don't know. I don't have an opinion, unfortunately. Yada says he trusted the moon indicator. I guess he's doing okay then. Video game cryptos, are there any? Like, why do we need I love DeFi. Why do we need a coin for everything in DeFi? Can't we just have video games? Why do we need a coin for everything? We already have, use the coins that already exist. Why do we make more coins every time? Tic Tac from the Netherlands, what's up? Pi Cycle, oh man, we got a Pi Cycle person in here. I will get so excited when the Pi Cycle comes and goes and we just keep going. Let me pull it up. The Pi Cycle top last cycle, I basically said, this is the only thing that's pointing us bearish. I don't quite believe in it for that reason. Okay, I wasn't exactly correct on that quote-unquote call. What you have to understand is these past Pi Cycle tops, they were curve fitted, okay, to try to predict what's going on now. Yeah, I don't know. It's one thing to look at, it's one thing. Right now, Pi Cycle, like you said, is at 70 plus. I hope this crisscrosses 6 times. That way we can throw this thing out and never look at it again. But it is something to look at. You know, we may get something like we got in 2019, where it looked like it was going to cross and then didn't. I don't know. You know, we still don't even have halving. That's halving. I think the problem with these indicators is that people want like a clear cut. They want to go all in. They want to go all out. They want one signal. It's not that easy. It's not that easy. Really not that easy. But it's something to watch, I guess. I would much prefer the power law or the 2-year moving average multiplier, something like that. If we go to, let me just pull it up. Why not? So this is the 2-year moving average multiplier. Now, I don't like this one better because it points higher, okay? I just like it better because I think it's fit price better. It's not binary. It's not buy here, sell here. It is telling you overbought, oversold. It's an oscillator, right? This was 2013 to 2016. It caught those tops and bottoms well. It caught 2017 and 2019 well. It caught COVID, right? Like if you want to really test something, see how it reacted to COVID. This is telling you to buy, right? It's telling you to buy. What did it do in 2022? Told you to buy the whole time. Now it doesn't snipe the bottom, okay? But it's done rather well. It almost sniped the top, almost. But this also gives you a sense of the shenanigans that SBF pulled off. You know, he kind of robbed us of the 100K level. Here, the top would be 150-ish, and that's going to continue to curl up. So I like this over Pi cycle, personally. Power law is this one. Same thing, right? It's just an oscillator. It's probabilities, overbought, oversold. The maximum top would be 300 currently. We're currently at the midpoint of the Pi cycle, not Pi cycle, sorry, power law corridor, which is that early for pre-halving? Kinda early. But I much prefer this over like absolutes. This is the top. Even though it was right, you know, it was right-ish. So I prefer those over Pi cycle. All right, sorry, let me catch up. Bad Moon Rising, it's obscure. I had to look at what you posted. I thought it was a troll. Yeah, the 3 domed house. There are 3 peaks in a domed house. Head and Shoulders and Barn and Garage. Josh's mom thinks he sells clouds. I don't think my parents know what I do, honestly. Not many people do. Neo from 2017. Man. I think this one was actually in the weekly cloud, wasn't it? Yeah, I guess it still is. The other part about some of these alts, you can see it immediately, right? They do better after halving. I say that. Many people have said that. It's not just, you know, it's not like a brave call or anything. Like some of these will look good, but nobody cares about Neo, right? So yeah, it might have its day eventually. But let's be honest, you know, who cares about Neo? I don't think anybody. So if you're sitting in this, there's an opportunity cost. It's going to take time. It may take you into 2025. So yeah, like where does this go? I don't know. Like pick a diagonal, you know. Maybe it goes to 70. Just a guess. 70, 60, somewhere up there. But would I want to hold this and wait? Probably not. Probably not. That's just me. For alts, what's your take on buy and hold, then sell nearish top? For most traders, do you see some coins as likely running throughout the cycle? The leaders are probably going to continue to lead to some degree. So like stacks, we talked about, right? Where's our thing? Something that is in the consciousness of people, stacks is going to do well. Let's talk about Solana because I haven't talked about Solana yet. Solana clearly has the attention of the world. Okay, so from a cycle perspective, this is what we were looking at yesterday, was this super low time frame cloud breakout. I sold it at like 188 to 190 from 175. Anyway, so like, what do you want to do long term in a cycle? For Solana, I would want to tactically add to the stack when it is above a common sense level that is either a TK recross, a cup and handle breakout, or a Kijun bounce, which is 145. So as bullish as we might attempt to be, I'm still pretty bearish because I think all this stuff keeps retracing. I think something like Sol, we could see 144. We could see 120 again on Sol. So I'm in no rush to like, we're back in the pool, boys. We're bullish. Not quite there for me. Now ETH already retested the daily Kijun. I didn't take this because I didn't want anything pre-Powell. I didn't want to take any trades, so I wasn't in it. But even this one, you know, it had low time frame stuff, a bunch of FUD potentially. I don't know, FUD or not, but you know, it had head and shoulder stuff. Okay, breakout, great. Now everything looks like junk, you know? That's what you get with low time frame stuff. You can't exactly hold some low time frame pattern forever. You really want to see high time frame stuff. This is the main reason why I don't trade ultra low time frames. It just kind of encourages bad behavior. But this looks horrible, right? It looks real bad. Back to the Bitcoin 4-hour. If we look at the ETH 4-hour, it's really telling you the same thing. Like, this could be a right shoulder. It needs more time. It probably needs until next week to really tell you what's going on here. Currently 3,600 is the level. And it might sound silly to say like, oh, I'd rather buy this at 3,600 than take a stab here. It's back to the probability thing. Like, I'm not sure that this will actually bounce, you know? So I'd rather wait till the confirmation is there at 3,600 than assume that this is just going to be a right shoulder and assume that this is going to, you know, break out. I'm not quite there yet. I'm not quite there yet. It could, but I'm not quite there yet. And way down the road, the cleanest signal is always going to be a full cloud reset, which would be like, that would take all of April probably for that to happen. Isn't a diamond continuation? So no, if we go to ETH BTC, to me, diamonds I thought were reversal patterns. That's how I've learned them. I don't think that's incorrect. ETH BTC, I don't know. I don't think you can trade this. I think the only people that care about this chart are the ETH people because they think that this is going to bounce. I don't think we're seeing an ETF in May. I don't think the market thinks we're getting an ETF in May. ETH BTC looks like a mess. I have no idea. I would never trade this directly. Never. But this looks like it either wants to continue to range or break down. It just hasn't been able to hold those highs. If you get another high to 06, maybe you take that, but I don't know. Just doesn't look good to me. I have somewhere a pitchfork. Hold on, let me find it. There we go. I think this is the long-term story of ETH BTC. I think eventually this breaks down. The longer, now admittedly, the longer it can hold this level, the better chance it has. But I just don't think, I think it's futile. I think eventually it's going to break down. All right, what else we got? So the second part of that question about alts was, do I think some are going to run throughout the cycle? Yeah, sure. Now, I don't think some like garbage tier layer 3 blockchain that nobody's heard of is going to run throughout the cycle, but some of this higher stuff that the people are paying attention to, yeah, sure. Even AI, like if AI continues, I don't think it will. I don't think AI is going to continue to the degree that it has. If we go to Nvidia, all the AI coins are basically just, you know, Nvidia beta, I guess you could say. so if Nvidia slows down significantly or retraces or this starts to look ugly, I would be very, very careful with the AI coins. It looks okay here. I would not touch this up here personally. There's just nothing for me. SMCI was the other one. They talked about offering shares, I think. 2 billion. You know, this, again, like, it's always the same thing. Always. It does not matter that this moved 10,000%. It does not matter. It's always telling you, bullish TK cross, price above the cloud. That is your entry. Nvidia was the same. Does it help that there's a narrative and that everybody's looking at this? Absolutely, right? Same thing with Render. Render had a series of consolidation, continuation breakouts. Up here, I don't think there's an entry. You could probably say, you know, if you want to get bearish on this, I don't know. This doesn't look, if I'm looking for bearish stuff, this is all I see, right? A head and shoulders. I just don't think there's much on this bone up here. If you zoom way out, take the high, let's take a low that makes sense. Again, it kind of hit the expected, like this is the Bitcoin 100,000 target, is the measured move from the bear market. So I just don't know how much more realistically is in this right now. Just trying to see. Yeah, I just don't know. You know, maybe this is even a diamond top, right? As I sloppily draw the diamond, something like this, whatever. At the moment I see something that looks like a reversal or a continuation, that's all I can see. PyCycle's creator said it's invalid last cycle. Well, there you go. VIX is low because structured products are being created and sold. This keeps VIX suppressed a bit, but not artificially low. Okay. I sold every yesterday, even my return. Sold everything. Okay. Yeah, the other thing about the flows was if the ETFs weren't buying yesterday, who was buying yesterday? Because that's a massive, like on Bitcoin, for example, that is a huge day. That is a $5,000 candle. That is a 10-12% day. Absolutely wild day. So ETFs had to be buying. but we did not see that in the flows. Old pitchfork, interesting. We tapped the midpoint. I don't know. I'm bullish, but it still looks like we need to retrace a bit. What is your realistic expectation for how long things can stay hot post-halving? A year. It's always a year. Look at it's probably more than a year, but look at every other post-halving period. Right? Just use the data you have. It's not a lot of data points. Blah, 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 caveat, caveat, caveat. Just literally measure every single post-halving top, right? You can just measure it and say, okay, it's about a year. About a year after halving is the top. So if you're bullish, plan for that, you know? Plan for bullish continuation. I think the ETFs will destroy this cycle, as in it will not be a cycle. It'll just be up forever. There's a trillion zillion dollars out there. None of it owns Bitcoin. Case closed. Sorry, I'm just reading chat. Yeah, XLE was this idea. So I'm not like an energy buff. I am not a doomer, clearly. XLE I've been watching for a long time as a potential trade that I didn't want to work out. So XLE is the energy ETF. And because of how this bakes into inflation, I wanted this to fail, right? If this fails, XLE, that probably means energy is coming down or staying down. The fact that this chart still looks extremely good. We can go to the weekly. Legacy Cloud, sorry. Weekly Legacy Cloud has a bullish TK cross, price above cloud last week. Okay. Again, I just want to be there. I don't care if this goes nowhere. I don't care if this zeroes out for the next 4 months. All I know is this. The cloud is telling you this is a great setup. This is a great trade. The narrative is there. The chart pattern is there. And it survived several dips into the cloud this entire time, right? So unfortunately for us, as people who live in the world, it does look like this energy setup is very bullish still. The other part about triangles, you'll read in the literature that they tend to complete their consolidation when they are 3/4 full at least. So just eyeballing this triangle looks to be about 3/4 complete. Something else you will read about triangles to keep in mind: if patterns wait till the last possible second to break out, they probably will fail. So that's just odds and probability. I don't have backtesting on any of this, just something to keep in mind. But I don't think this is going to be a quintuple top. Okay, this is probably going to break out. That's why I'm long XLE right now. I've got calls on XLE. We're trying something wild, right? We're trying options on XLE. The other chart that broke out was gold. Again, there's no such thing as a triple top. There's no such thing as a quintuple top. And if we want to go back to the cloud, it's telling you, like, it's literally shoving you in this trade so many times over and over again. This is the ugliest chop that you're going to see, multi-year chop, okay? But the cloud is consistently telling you, get in this trade, stay in this trade, stay in this trade. And yeah, I don't know where this goes. I assume it goes much higher because the chart pattern is also on your side here. So this still looks very bullish to me. Was Sailor buying yesterday? I don't think Sailor was buying yesterday. Filecoin? Question about Filecoin. Let's take a look. So somebody in the comments on one of my videos accused me of being a Filecoin shill because I still like the chart. I just like the chart. I don't know if this goes anywhere, right? I still like the chart. Where's a good buy for this? Anything below 650 is great. I'm just looking at the diag, right? A lot of times, let's go back to this cloud. A lot of times on a breakout of a pattern or consolidation, you're going to see a retest of the breakout. So whatever this is here, 6 to 7, like if you can get, I'll personally be adding to my stack down there. Because again, the upside on this, as far as a cycle hold, does it go to 60? Does it go to 30? Does it go to 20? I don't know. But the cycle hold is at least a 2x from here. And that risk reward gets even better the lower this goes. And as a stop loss, you can either say when it's outside of the cloud, I'm out. You can say when it's out of the key June, we'll blow this up. This is the hard stop loss. If this closes outside of the cloud, I'm done. I'm out personally, but I would love to re-add here. That's pretty much it. How about silver? Sure, let's look at silver. Why not? Why the flip not? What is the cloud telling us on silver? Let's go to legacy. Hold on. What is this? I thought gold was choppy. Man. So again, you've got a decent case for a multi-year inverted head and shoulders. Again, you can probably just see that. I don't need to draw it, but this is clearly trying to break up. It's just, I don't know why you would trade this over anything else, right? Like, does this lean bullish? Sure. But it's like LTC, it's like Neo, right? There's just so much opportunity cost having anything in this. Like, why? Why? Like, okay, we get it. You're bullish metals. You love antibiotics and canned goods. I don't see it personally. It's bullish. Like, it wants to break out clearly, but it's just such a chop. Costco started selling silver. Really? Todd says EOS. Todd, I'm gonna say, you ready for the what is it called? The Come to Jesus meeting. Where's the Bitfinex? There it is. So this kind of reminds me of Disney, right? Let's just do it back to back. If we look at the Disney chart, it's really kind of the same. Same principles anyway. It's another reason I like PayPal here. Today. There's an interesting low time frame pattern on Disney there. But, right? Like you're getting this downward compression. You got the breakout. Okay. So where does this go? It tried to close in the cloud. It might have an inverted head and shoulders. It's just like, why? Like, why bother? I'm not just picking on Todd here, but generally it's just like, why bother? It's like Cardano. It's the same thing. Just no one's using it. There's no there, right? Yes, is this bullish? Sure. On the BTC pair, Cardano looks tragic. Cardano looks like hot garbage on the BTC pair. If your alt does not have the mind share, the zeitgeist of Solana right now, then the question is just why? Can EOS get the mind share of Solana? I don't think so. As far as targets, like, yes, this could work its way through the cloud. I just, you know, this is why it's so personal. I don't know people's allocations to this. Is it a weekend trade? Is it a 365-day trade? I don't know. I just don't know why people this is my own personal alt philosophy. All these old boomer alts that people yell at me for looking at, I'm trying to tell people that is your future. Again, back to this thing, like, this is why I don't bother with alts over the long term. It just doesn't matter. They go to zero. They all go to zero against Bitcoin. They just do. And there's like 3 of them that do well, right? Every cycle, somebody's going to do well against Bitcoin. So I don't hate this trade at all. It's just, it's probably going to be kind of limp and take a while to get there, you know? But I don't hate it. Doge is another one that I need to figure out personally where to rebuy this. Where's the halving? There it is. Post-halving, Doge should do well. I just think it needs time. You know, you can see the cloud pinching here, and I think Q4, like, if you wanna go wild with alts, I think Q4 is gonna be bananas for everything. If Q4 plays out how I think it will, based on the technicals, my God, God help us all, because Q4 may get absolutely insane for everything. You know, Bitcoin to over 100,000, alts to God knows infinity. NFTs will be back. Everything's going to be back potentially in Q4. So I would save the energy and dry powder for the end of the year. You got elections, you got rates coming down. What else is going on at the end of the year? I'm sure there's other stuff. Yeah, the Cardano stuff. I have publicly garbage talked Cardano since at least 2016. You can read my articles about it, Brave New Coin, and not much has changed. Sorry, not much has changed. You talk about MSOS, sure. A cannabis ETF. I don't hate the setup because, again, like, you know, something is trying to happen here. It's been paying for years. Now, I don't think if Trump gets elected, I don't think he's regulatorily. I don't think his regulatory stance on cannabis is bullish for this ETF. But maybe if Biden gets reelected, maybe this does better. I don't hate this. You know, it's a mess. It goes back to like the allocation conversation. Like, am I honestly going to put a trade with size into this thing here? Probably not. Probably not. But yeah, as a trade, why not? Why not? What else haven't we talked about? Link. Nothing's really screaming at me with Link. If anything, let's just get rid of all this. Go to a different chart. Hold on. with Link on the daily, you probably want to wait for the reset of the cloud. Talk about a cycle hold. Like if you want to cycle hold something that people trade regularly throughout the cycle. Link would be one of those things. We've talked about this before, but this thing had like breakout attempt after breakout attempt. It had diagonal, horizontal resistance, whatever, right? Okay. Now what's happened since then? Bullish TK recross, price above cloud, great. Missed that one. What's next? The exact same thing. Let this reset and just revisit when those TK lines recross each other. I would just wait for that. It looks like it's gonna anyway. Like you could go down to like a low time frame and say, much like everything else, like the entire market is trying this, right? It's trying an inverted head and shoulders. So if Bitcoin fails, they will likely all fail. So keep that in mind. But that's what I'd wait for on Link on the daily. Someone just asked me about the Reddit IPO. I'm not the guy who trades the 1 second charts, right? So I can't pretend to care about the Reddit IPO. I have no idea. Link had the best run last cycle. All right, so that's Link. AVAX. A few people have asked me about AVAX. Again, immediately, what kind of vibes am I getting? I'm getting diamond vibes. I'm getting head and shoulder vibes. This is not bullish continuation vibes for me. So I would wait until this resolves on AVAX. On like high time frames, maybe you argue like Josh is bearish, but there's a cup and handle here. Yeah. The trade in that case is like all the way up here at 60, right? The trade is not, hey, let's assume this is a cup and handle and just buy blindly, at least for me. Now, if you believe in AVAX, sure, but that's what I'd be watching. If we want to take the most bullish viewpoint on a breakout, 89 to 100, somewhere in there. But I think that needs time. What else we got? All of DeFi is just kind of meh. Like we can look at stuff like this. It still looks okay, right? Kind of broke out a little bit, kind of retraced. Looks okay. I don't know, everything, I think everything just needs like 4 weeks. Give me 4 weeks, and I bet you there will be excellent entries between now and 4 weeks from now. But here, yeah, Smitty does like Link. I'm not as bullish as he is on Link right now. Palantir. I think we looked at this. Let me try to find it. Yeah. It's got this rising, broadening wedge thing. I don't know. All I see on this at the moment is this. So I don't know what you do with this. It kind of depends on where you're in on this thing. Like if I'm in from 10, okay, I could care less what's going on up here. I'm wildly in profit. Sell half on a double, ignore it, whatever. Now, if you're in from 20, then maybe you're thinking about what's going on. I don't have any specific high time frame ideas there other than the low time frame head and shoulders. Bitcoin, Schmitcoin, him and me and Crypto Jack do streams every once in a while. Am I interested in any meme coin? No, not really. Doge is about as memey as I get. Algo. All right, let's look at a few of these. JUP. Let's look at JUP, sure. Is there a Kraken? Yeah, okay. So this goes back to my TIA conversation. Like, I might think Solana is trash and everything on Solana is trash. JUP is a DEX, okay, or whatever it is, aggregator. At least there are metrics that I can look at and say, yes, people are actually using this thing, okay? So sure, does it have a morsel of fundamentals behind it? Yes. With airdrops, I'm always saying either you hold it for a while or you sell it immediately. Low time frame cloud looked good at around 60 cents. It took off up here. I don't see anything. There's nothing for me here. This needs to reset like everything else. Again, come back in 4 weeks. You'll have a million different candlesticks from now and then on the 4 hour. It just needs time. I don't expect the JUP people to be strong hands. So if this does break $1, I bet you'll get an excellent entry much lower. I was on the wrong cloud, but it doesn't really matter. Up here you could say, double top. If this breaks below the 4 hour cloud, you're in trouble. If this breaks below $1, you're in trouble. I assume anybody asking me about a coin has a bunch of it. They're not like waiting to buy, but I could be wrong. This would resolve bullish if it consolidates successfully, right? But it needs time, tons of time. Tons and tons of time. TIA bounced hard. We just looked at it. There's no way it bounced hard between now and the 30 minutes ago. What else? Sorry, Algo, Baba. Okay. Algo we talked about yesterday. My answer is the same for like the next year on any of these charts. It's in the weekly cloud. It has a bullish TK cross. If it can hold the cloud, I love it. I love it for the next 12 months. That's all I have to say, right? I just think you have to give it time. We're not even post-halving yet. That's the thing. Like, everybody's been so spoiled with all this meme garbage pre-halving. Just give this time. It'll do fine. It'll do fine. Okay, Baba. Well, this isn't PayPal and it's not Zoom and it's not anything else. You can see that it tried to do something, but then it failed, right? Here, there's nothing. I don't think there's anything here. Maybe a low time frame attempt, right? Like, low time frame patterns give you low time frame results. So yeah, we could trade this as something, right? But where does this go? This probably goes to like 86, So it's like, do I even care? I don't. But it's trying to bottom. I just don't think it's worth thinking about down here. I think it needs to be up here. So above 90, I like it. Here, I don't care. Cats. Woo. That is a chart. Let's turn off halving. That is a wild chart. I mean, it's got, it's got something, some sort of weird parabolic something going on. Is there a pitchfork on this? Does this work? I don't know. Like it looks pretty good, doesn't it? Looks pretty good. Where could this go? I don't know. It's hard to even know what to measure on this because it's been very very choppy. Probably up here is what I'd imagine. Like 500s. It's a little parabolic, so you got to be careful, but it looks really good. It looks, you know, it's the opposite of Baba, right? It's the American builder story versus Chinese e-commerce. Yeah, I did Sui. Sui looks good. I love Sui here. IBM. Man, if the people yelling at me about boomer coins see this, they will be furious. They're going to be yelling at me about boomer businesses. What do you do with this here? This probably measures to the level, which it does. I don't know. Like, it looks okay. It's clearly not bearish. I don't really have anything to say. It looks good. It looks good. Would I be adding up here? It's not for me, but looks good. One other chart that did this break up today? Damn it. I literally have been watching this thing, Goldman Sachs, watching this piece of crap for quietly for a long time, mainly because it's had this super tight consolidation. Super tight. And typically after a breakout and a consolidation, that's typically continuation. But that trade has left the barn up here. I don't know if this broke out because the Reddit IPO is perceived as successful. I have no idea. But this chart looks good too. Looks very good. How does IWM look? IWM today up a little bit. Let's go to like the 3-day. Looks good. Looks like a breakout, right? DE daily bullish. DE. Yeah, I guess. I mean, the bigger problem is this, right? I don't even know if this is a diamond. I don't know. I don't know what this is. That's quite the chart. If it can recover, it probably does fine. It's just such a mess. Such a mess. You know, honestly, it reminds me of Tesla. Tesla zoomed way out is also just a bunch of hot garbage, right? Like Tesla has underperformed this year, last year, by a lot. Maybe not last year, but this year. I know there's like a cult following of this stock, which makes sense. It made a lot of people turbo rich early on, right? People got stupid rich on this thing. I get it, but this is not a bullish chart. Just does not look good any way you try to slice it. not for me. Okay, what else we got? Apt. You know, as a cycle hold, sure, it's bullish. It's near all-time highs-ish. I wouldn't add here. You know, again, the cloud's going to tell you where to be adding. I don't know. I don't really have any comments. Looks fine. I wouldn't touch it here, though. Where's Ledger these days? Ledger is busy with IRL stuff. He's abandoned us for IRL stuff. Wix? That's not even a chart. Bob Lazar. I don't know what that is. Did anyone talk about game coins? No, I don't have any opinion on game coins. Sorry. I mean, unless you're talking about like AXS. Hold on. Is that the right one? No, it's not. So there's like some metaverse game stuff. Again, it needs a little more time. Like it's getting there. Clearly there's something trying to happen. It needs time. If it's gonna move, it needs time. Sand is another one. Mana, right? These all they just need time. Looking to go hard in on a coin for a 2 to 3x. Have you heard of Bitcoin? Can I interest you in Bitcoin? It just depends on your risk appetite, right? If you want to go all in on ADA, I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to stop you. Filecoin derivatives. So I looked at, is Mina storage? I think it is. I looked at storage. I looked at SIA. They're all just meh. Meh. What are my favorite alts? I like alts that people actually trade. AVAX, sure. Solana, sure. Link, sure. What else we got? Any of the ETH layer 2s? If ETH ever does well, it's done okay, right? If ETH continues to break out, if ETH goes to 10K and you're bullish, I'd look at Lido, I would look at OP, I would look at ARB. ARB's got a challenging unlock schedule, so keep that in mind. You could go DeFi. I don't know. This whole idea of like, I want to get rich on one coin, I think is a little silly. This looks horrendous, by the way. Look at this. It's the King's Castle. That's what Peter Brandt calls this. The King's Castle head and shoulders. This chart looks very bearish to me. ARB, which makes sense. They just unlocked a bunch of coins. Rich says he appreciates my videos. He only watches me and Ben Cowan. Ben is more bearish alts than I am. So that's an interesting coupling there. Dominance, by the way. Much like XLE, which is going to break out first. Dominance or XLE. It's the same chart. It it looks pretty gross relative to how XLE looks, but same idea. Same idea. Yeah, Jupiter I looked at. It like here's the thing. You don't really need me to tell you. Let's pick a random coin. I'm gonna close my eyes and click. Okay, DOT. Perfect. Haven't talked about this one yet. Here's the thing. Go to a high time frame on anything. If you can't, go to the highest time frame you can. If we're above the cloud, we're bullish. If we're below the cloud, we're bearish. That's it. That's all you need to know. Okay. Now, if we have a bullish blue-red cross here, like we do, that should it generally has a buoyancy, it generally has steam behind it, it has a tailwind. Do I think DOT is going to overperform this cycle? I have no clue. I don't think so. The trend is telling you that this thing looks decent. So going back to this chart that we looked at earlier, it is above the cloud. So it is by default bullish. It also has a crazy parabolic trend that everybody and their mother keeps trying to enter, and the dumbest of dumb money is sitting in. Sorry. It is turbo retail, so you got to keep that in mind. It helps to know who's probably trading this. Probably not people getting good entries, probably not people who think this can't go, the people in this think this can't go down, right? To me, this move is over for now. Where you get in trouble, where people get in trouble, back to TIA, right? I cannot tell you the number of people that came in here asking me about this coin literally at the top, okay? Take off the cloud. We'll take off all this. I had so many people asking me about this at like 13, 14, 15. The odds that they're still sitting in this thing are probably pretty high. Now look, it might do well this cycle. It might go to 1600, I don't know. But they kind of get trapped, right? So my fear is these same type of people are getting trapped in this right now. Okay. It can't go down, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure it does well eventually. It's just, if you don't have a plan for your entry, you're likely going to get stuck in this and just watch everything else fly by. That's my dad speech for everybody asking me about this chart. It always happens every time. Something runs up, people get excited, they buy the top, and they are the exit liquidity. That's it. So no, I don't like this chart here. CRU? Is that crypto? Crust Network. Oh, here we go. Let's take a look. Now, our boy Sidiums here tells me that the cloud looks eye emoji. Maybe he was talking about the weekly? 3-day? The cloud does look eye emoji, but you might be sitting in this thing for a long time. You know, like, I've never heard of it. Not that I'm anybody who matters. No one's ever asked me about Crust. Okay, so it's not listed in many places. It's like the Monero problem, right? Who's trading this? Who's looking at this? Who cares? I don't know. Maybe Crust does really well, but you're probably better off trading stuff that people know exist, right? Like Matic. Like, I think Matic is complete junk, but I know there are a ton of people who are trading this thing. People know it exists, okay? Yes, Dave, there are 10 people who are trading Monero. I guarantee you. And unfortunately, they're losing money, unfortunately. Monero, like Solana, right? Let's dial back the clock. Show me on the chart where Robinhood had to delist Solana for regulatory reasons. I think it was literally here, right? Unlike Monero, Solana is still listed everywhere but Robinhood, right? Do they have regulatory baggage? Absolutely. But what helps Solana, what hurts Monero, is it's just not listed anywhere. I love the tech. I think it's a great coin. It's not listed. It's hard to buy. And it's probably not going to get any easier to buy. That's that. Kind of open and shut, unfortunately. You could say the same thing about any. Look at Dash. Look at Ren. Look at any of these privacy adjacent. I already looked at Zcash. What a joke that chart is, that chain is. Unfortunately, the privacy stuff just by default cannot do well if it's getting delisted everywhere. It just can't. It just can't. Ren is kind of the same. Ren is an on-chain washing machine, okay? Can this thing potentially do well? Maybe. Would I hold this over an extended period of time? I would not, because how is this thing legal? I don't know. It's got regulatory issues, okay? We do love Kraken. I love Kraken. I don't know how Kraken still has Monero listed, personally, but I'm glad they do. For sure. Kraken is a sponsor of this very channel. Monero is to be used, not held or invested, and that, RJ, is the secret. It is great fundamentally. It is not so great as a buy and hold. Yeah, now we just need a Stimpy coin. All right, sorry. I'll get off my soapbox. Let's take a look. Cass. I feel like people ask me about this one every week, and I always say, is this an exchange token? And then somebody says, no, and then I say, this looks like a Ponzi, and then somebody says, oh, they're doing minting and burning. And then I say, oh, okay, that makes sense. I mean, it looks fine. I don't know what the team is doing or whatever they're doing here. There's clearly some sort of mechanism buying this, I would assume. I don't know. I literally don't know what to say. Where does this go? It goes to wherever the buy or the mint and burn mechanism lets it go. Looks fine. I don't know. Looks okay. Love to hear your thoughts on SL for. Okay, so stop losses. Yeah, dot. We'll just bang these out real quick. Any of the stop losses on the weekly clouds are always going to be, the bottom of the cloud is always a stop loss. If this stuff starts closing out of the cloud, that's it. You gotta cut. You got to. Not investment advice, but you got to. The second stop loss you could use would be the Kijun. Okay, if it breaks below, you know, if it's swimming in here, that's a potential level to cut as well. The third thing to watch would be, you could go to like the daily or the 3-day and then turn on the fractals. So on the 3-day, we haven't broken the current stop loss fractal yet. But you could use all three of those levels as trailing stop losses. So if it breaks the Kijun, you cut a little bit. If it breaks the Williams fractal, you cut a little bit. And then if it breaks the cloud, you're just out completely. Okay, so that's an example. That's dot. ACAU. Don't know what this one is. The other part about these trades that I said going into them, it took them years to bottom. So you have to give these a little breathing room, time-wise, to play out, right? Like, you can't be nervous if this thing reverses 20%. You just can't, right? Like, there's an Adam and Eve, okay. This whole thing is some sort of something, right? Like if this continues, it's going to need time. So you just have to keep that in mind. I'm not saying that because this might fail and it might make the cloud look bad. Like, it has nothing to do with that. You just have to give this time. But your stop loss here would be the bottom of the cloud, right? So anything below like 12, 13 cents. Gala still looks okay to me. I don't have any issues there. It doesn't look pretty based on those candles, but again, like, you got to give it time. You got to give it time. Now on the 3-day, yeah, you don't even have a trailing stop loss fractal yet. print since the breakout. Just gotta give it time. YGG. YGG. Is there a Binance? Not really. Same thing. Close below 56. And GLMR on Kraken. Yeah, so all these are about the same place. They're in the cloud, bullish TK cross. They all like I like them as a group, as an idea. Is there a bigger? Let's go to Binance. Same thing. Okay. So as a group, I can see where you're going because they're all attempts. You know, they all kind of have like they'll kind of have this thing going on, right? But yes, the stop losses that I would use would be the cloud for all these. T-Fuel, how do we see Josh's portfolio? I have it in the Discord, actually. Would you have de-risked on this bounce if you did not move to cash? Yes, I would have. With all these game tokens, can you look at Portal? He only has a few K in alts. Yeah, I am mostly BTC, a little bit of cash, and almost nothing in alts. Almost nothing. Sorry, I lost it. Someone's asking about BitX. So with BitX, I would trade spot. Okay, so if we get this 4-hour breakout with this inverted head and shoulders mess, whatever it ends up being, if this is successful, I like a full shove into BitX. Okay, wherever this breaks the 4-hour, if it does, that's what I love. What I can't do is I can't look at the BitX chart and say anything about this chart. It doesn't really make sense to me. You could say, you know, on a lower time frame, BitX is the 2x Bitcoin ETF. On the lower time frame, we got the breakout on the 4-hour. This is where I took the long based on the 43K Bitcoin level. I closed this trade based on the daily Williams fractals on spot. Up here, this actually looks worse to me than Bitcoin does. Again, you're getting something that doesn't look good. Okay, it looks like a bearish reversal for sure. So if you're not watching the spot chart, you could watch the 4-hour here and just wait for something to show up, right? Either a full reset of the cloud, a bullish TK recross, any of that stuff, sure. But if we go to like the daily on this, there's just not enough data, you know? Not enough data. I'm not confident enough that this is going to hold up here quite yet. So that's what I would be watching for. The most important to me is BTC. So you're right. You know, this is a trade that I'll definitely be taking everywhere. when it breaks out, if it does, I will just be going nuts with putting cash in, taking leverage, everything. Strata brings up a good point. Why isn't anyone talking about this random alt? Internet computer. It's kind of like HBAR. It's kind of like how I feel about SUI, say, apt, whatever other layer one that no one really talks about. This cycle is last cycle's like Filecoin, internet computer, HBAR. I don't know anybody who cares about any of this stuff. It looks fine. Much like everything else, it you know, it had its like bearish channel that it broke out of. It broke out of the cloud. Where does it go from here? I have no idea. It probably just does whatever the rest of the market does. I don't know. Sapient Scorpion says he has a target of 220. Let me see if I can figure out how he got to that. 220. Take the high, take the low. That's 320. We take this to there. No, I can't figure it out. I have no idea. I have no idea where this goes. I'd be worried about coin inflation unlock schedule, right? The fact that some of these, like HBAR, is a horrendous offender of this. Their unlock schedule is awful for the holder. It's great for the VC. It's great for people who got on the pre-sale or whatever. Clearly, I had some sort of annotations on this chart pointing to bullish reversal. It's just tough to hold these long term because you know every month X number of coins are getting sold just automatically. Sorry, I was just trying to read. T-Fuel. Sure, let's take a look. I mean, it's, you know, it's the same as every other. There's like two versions of charts right now, right? This is one of those versions where it had some sort of nasty complex inverted head and shoulders or something, broke out. I don't know, like from here, just needs the rest of the market to pull it up. Yeah, let's talk about miners. I talked about Ocean on the video yesterday. It's one of the few charts against BTC that actually looks really good. Like really, really good. Do I have notes on it somewhere? Let's just do it here. So what I like about this chart, guess we can go to the daily. Take the cloud off. It's like when when Obi-Wan tells Luke to use the Force. That's like me taking off the cloud. I like that this has this, right? Inverted head and shoulders against Bitcoin. Whatever target that is, sure. The last one, was it FAT? Yeah, so here's another example, right? Same idea with FAT. I don't know if this goes higher here. I'm just saying, like, I liked the chart for that reason. FET BTC looks a little tired up here. Similar to XLE, similar to dominance, right? And it's ascending triangle type stuff. There's something here that worked out too, right? The tough part is now, right? The easy part is finding it pre-breakout and just buying. But what happens up here? I don't know. See, I would have just, which I did, I had a FET bag that I took profit on because it hit the targets. So, I don't know. All right, miners. Let's take a look at miners, then we'll get out of here. Miners. WGMI, mining ETF. Looks angry? I don't know. Looks okay. I keep saying if it's above 20, I like it. I don't know. This thing has to be above 20 or below 12 for me to care. I don't know. It's just so choppy. Just absolute mega turbo chop, right? Mara, so Mara held the head and shoulders neckline. It held the pitchfork bottom. I'm not certain it'll continue to hold. But if you're bullish miners, I don't know. Mara seems okay. Riot. Riot looks just blah to me. Just huge range. Huge range. I don't know. I'm not bullish on that one. Clean Spark. What's going on? Clean Spark. Okay, so this one had, again, I cannot ever unsee this. Whatever this is here, I don't even know, right? Like, there's clearly an attempt to break down. It did not so far. It survived. It looks like it's going to survive. It looks better than most of the miners. I think it's very overvalued up here, but it looks fine. You know, I don't know what the entry is for this. I guess you could argue if it makes a higher high, it canceled the head and shoulders, so that's good enough. I don't know. I'd just rather buy other stuff personally. I ran kind of grinding these higher lows. I don't hate it. Looks fine. It just needs time, you know. I don't hate it. SDIG. SDIG. This one, my notes are still there. You could say this is at a range low. I'm going to take that trade. I'm going to buy. I don't like that personally for me. It just depends on the type of trader you are. I never like buying range lows typically. I would rather wait for this at 9 than to fool around at 4. But it, you know, it looks okay. I don't know. Like, it doesn't look bullish enough for me to buy, right? Could this be the stone cold low? Absolutely. It's just not for me. Hut is a mess. Hut is a mess. Somebody liked that comment about Iron or SDIG. I don't know. I guess you hope this is a W bottom. Again, I like this way better at 1350 than here. Wolf had an interesting day yesterday. It was up 35% yesterday. There is, across all these charts, you can kind of see there's something coiling. Not Clean Spark so much, but the other miners. Something's coiling here that I don't think has a bias one way or the other. It's probably a 50-50, but it's definitely coiling and getting close. So I do think if you're looking to take a position on miners pre-halving, I think you have to look at these closely here because they do look like something's trying to happen. Wolf looks okay, right? I don't know, this may just zero out to nothing, but it's trying to hold above the high time frame cloud. Gree is my own little personal pet project. This is a terrible trade, okay? The setup, like Hut, where the setup just kind of fizzles out. If Gree can survive the halving, if they're even miners anymore or whatever they do over there, they should do well. But look at this drop, right? Brutality. Down Basically down 99.99%. Absolutely brutal. So if this thing has any positive news, yeah, sure. Right, like if we take this off log. What a crazy chart. What an absolutely crazy chart. Clearly there was something. Okay, stocks, they have split there. 23 to 200. What the hell is that? Just a wild chart. Nobody should touch this, just to be clear. I just think it's a hilarious chart. What is that? 5,000 to $3. Hilarious. Bearish TK cross below cloud. It looks horrendous. Okay, there's no reason to buy this whatsoever. Looks horrendous. Probably goes to zero. Coin, we haven't talked about coin. Thanks, Noel, for joining the club. Coin looks fine. It looks fine. It continues to just climb, you know. If retail is trading, if ETFs are trading, should do good. That's it. You know, I don't like the exchange personally. I don't have any money there. But it looks okay. Looks fine. MSTR. Oh man, MSTR. Somehow MSTR survived up here. The problem for the retrace thesis that I have is people keep shorting this thing and they keep getting blown out. So that's why I think it's holding up here, but I think it needs a reality check, and that's why people are shorting it. They think this is overvalued, and it is. But here we are at 1600, you know? Yeah, exactly. I would never touch this up here. I don't care if there's a short squeeze. It just logically makes 0 sense why this is at 1600. I hope Saylor keeps diluting or whatever he's doing, issuing debt, whatever. I don't want to misspeak because the MSTR cult will come after me. But yeah, not for me up here. And I said this in a few videos like weeks ago, but I said it had been living below this pitchfork, and that we'll find out how bullish this is above the pitchfork. And literally in like a week, boom, all the way up to the top. So yeah, this one's just, it's not for me. Way too hot on that one. Hood I talked about a little bit early. Someone's asking about it again. I like Hood to 50. I like Hood. I'm so bullish on Hood I can't see straight. Okay. I love that retail's back-ish. I love that retail loves to gamble. I love that retail loves options. I don't know. Hood. I think Hood's a great little crypto adjacent portfolio addition. Admittedly, it's a little bit late-ish here, but if you think it's going to 50, sure. Once again, like back to SDIG, right? If we look at, let's just go to SDIG. This is why I always rather buy this crap when it's breaking the range. You know, like, yeah, could I have bought this at 8 on Hood? Sure, but I would have had zero confidence and I wouldn't have sized that appropriately. Where if I'm buying it this at 12, which I did, I think I bought it at 10. I actually previously did take the Hood trade and closed it and reopened it later. But anyway, point is, yeah, you can buy the range low. You can hope for the best. But for me personally, I will size it much better and be much more confident when it breaks the range high. Now you could split the difference and say, hey, okay, that's fine. Like, I'll start to buy at the range low and then see what happens. It doesn't have to be this binary, like all in, all out thing. All right, I think we're gonna call it there. Hut and Mara, yeah, we talked about. Can you please show how I draw pitchforks? Sure. Let's pick a chart. Should we go to Ethy? Ethy, by the way, what is the discount today? Today the discount is 20% again. Probably more. A little bit better, 17. Anyway, how would you draw a pitchfork? So generally, these are the general rules. Pitchfork is in the line tool here on TradingView. So you always want to pick typically the ultimate low, and then you pick 2 more points. You can use the magnet tool. To stick your cursor to the wicks. Okay, so like I can fix this one down here. That's how you draw it. That's it. So clearly this, whatever was happening here, didn't quite fit. It is subjective. It is curve fitting. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now this pitchfork maybe didn't make too much sense initially, but it's looking pretty good, right? The longer prices hold within these levels, the more confidence I have that the market knows that the channels are there. The other thing I like, if you look at the diag here, it matches price. I found that the best type of fit, the best fitting pitchforks typically fit the anchor to some diagonal like that. How do you pick the next 2 points after the first? So I hope that explained it. It's literally your curve fitting, right? But most of the time, you need to find an extreme high and extreme low. So between the 3 points, you need extremes of everything, usually. That's how I do it. All right, we're going to call it there. Thanks for tuning in. We get up, walk around, stretch the legs. We will see you tomorrow. We got a stream with Schmitty and Crypto Jack at noon EST. That'll be on YouTube, as is this recording. Like, dislike, comment, share, subscribe. All the good stuff. Thanks, guys.